Hey, it's Jeff Erickson and Jim Coventry back at you again, talking about rankings for week 9. Jim, let's jump right into it here. Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals had a disappointing loss to the Eagles. It wasn't really Burrow's fault. The defense just got smashed again. And the fewest pressures recorded on a quarterback. So that's another rant for another day. But point is, Burrows has to be perfect for the Bengals to win. You get a easier opponent this week in the Raiders, yet I'm not as bullish as you are. I've got them at 10. You've got them at 5. I'm a self-hating Bengals fan. Talk me off the ledge.
Yeah, the matchups have been really, really tough for Burrow. Philadelphia, we thought they were a bad defense, but teams changed so much. Coming out of the bye, that Vic Fangio defense of the Eagles really has kicked in. So it was a bad matchup. They got the early touchdown. And then the week before, Cleveland. I get Cleveland's had their issues, but their defense, they bring pressure. They cover well. And then even prior to that, the Giants were rushing the passer well, and I kind of called that game as a bad one. But this week, look, they have Max Crosby in Las Vegas. I love them, but the pass rush as a whole is not getting any regular pressure. The cornerbacks are among the worst in the NFL. And I think in this game, Burrow's going to have an opportunity to put the team on his back. I don't see the Raiders, again, giving any resistance here. The Raiders look good number-wise against quarterbacks, but they've either played bad quarterbacks or low-volume quarterbacks. In this case, they'll throw to win.
I just want to see the Bengals coast in a game just once this year, just once before I'm willing to give them that benefit of the doubt. I'm still starting Burrow in my league, so it's not a huge disagreement here, but maybe it's you're steering them, maybe even to the use them in DFS land, which might not be a bad idea there. Let's talk running backs here. We're actually pretty much in agreement on a lot of things. I've got Rashaad White a little higher than you do. Tough matchup against Kansas City. Jim, the reason why I have him at 22 and you have him at 29, though, I'm counting on White being involved in the passing game. I don't think he's going to run especially well. Running backs don't run well against the Chiefs, but this is one of those things. We saw the adjustment by the Bucs when they lost their top 2 wide receivers is they threw to Cade Otton a ton and they threw to the backs. And I think you're going to see more of that. I think you might even see more than you saw last week where White had, I think, 6 catches and the touchdown. I think it's going to be around 10 targets this week. And that's why I've got him as a starting running back this week.
And it makes perfect sense. White is a massive part of their passing attack. What my apprehension is in this one is Steve Spagnuolo. He's one of the very few coaches in the NFL that brings out like a playoff type game plan where it's hyper specific. We see some teams make little adjustments, but we don't see them like take away what a team does best with frequency. And he tends to. And I think in this game, he knows those wide receivers, they have no chance against the Kansas City corners. So what do you do to make Baker uncomfortable? You probably put a little extra tension near the line, bringing rush, but also having somebody go right after those running backs as they release out. I love your call on this, and it could definitely be right. And if the Chiefs do get a lead in this one, but I think the Chiefs bleed the clock, shorten the game, and I think just Baker Mayfield is not going to have anywhere to go. So it could go either way, but you're right. White's heavily involved as a receiver.
We appreciate you guys tuning into this weekly video that Jim and I do. If you like it, please smash that like button. Go hit subscribe so you know when the next one's coming. And not just from Jim and I, but from all the crew at RotoWire. We are doing daily content here on this platform. We hope you check it out. And if you really like it, you want to see more, go see my rankings, go see Jim's work over at RotoWire. Go to rotowire.com/try. Get you a free trial. No credit cards required, folks. We don't do any of that sort of sneaky stuff there. 2 free days. You just get a free email. Just put in your email address. No credit card required, and we want you to subscribe. So check it out. rotowire.com/try. Let's jump into wide receivers, Jim. Marvin Harrison had a studly game against the Miami Dolphins. I've got him at 13 this week against the Bears. I get the matchup is tough, but I also think that he can overcome it. You've got him down at 25. The thing I like, Jim, and I'm going to pre-defend myself, is I saw Harrison beating Jalen Ramsey last week. I saw, rewatching that game over and over. Man, he stepped up in that second half. He was making studly catches. It wasn't just like wide open, easy plays. These weren't blown coverages. He was beating good players. And I liked what I saw from Marvin Harrison Jr.
Last week, I was in on Harrison, actually. Last week, I said publicly they would trail. They would have to give second half garbage time. There would be plenty of points there, and it actually worked out exactly to script. We saw Harrison have a big game earlier in the season, week 2. 4 for $130 and 2 touchdowns. And then in the next 3 games, he averaged 50 yards. So that's been the way of
Sure.
this offense is stagnant and it's very poorly coached. And I don't think there's going to be big trail mode in this game. And I've seen this offense be way too conservative, using the running back maybe a little more than they should, James Conner, maybe throwing to the tight end a little too much. And I don't think the Bears, who probably get a lead, if they do, it's not going to be much of a lead. And I think without the sense of urgency, we have seen Kyler Murray not feel the need. And it was only 7 targets last week for Harrison. And he hasn't had more than 7 targets in the last 4 games. It's just low target volume, tough matchup, and I don't think they're going to be in garbage time mode. That's my problem.
Fair. Tough but fair, but I get it. I do think that there are other alternatives in that range. So I could see, my 13 could be 20 pretty easily. So I could see that there. Cedric Tillman, I have at 22. You've got him way down at 39. I know they're stepping up in class this week. The Browns are going up against the Chargers as opposed to the Ravens injury-racked secondary. Is that the gist of your argument here?
No, and I love Cedric Tillman. He was like my Chris Godwin bailout. Like, I roster him in a lot of places. I played him in a lot of leagues last week. Didn't think he'd go 99-2, but I thought he would do well. He's the downfield guy for Jameis Winston, and we actually love that. But here's the deal in this game. Honestly, Nick Chubb played 62% of the snaps last week, and he got 14 carries. He is almost back to a full workload. People think the Chargers are this great run defense, and I uncovered 2 weeks ago when they played the they played the Cardinals. I said, no. They had an easy schedule. James Conner will roll them, and Conner went well over 100 yards, and it didn't take a ton of carries to get there. This is the Nick Chubb game. This is the game where they get set on the ground. They are going to run it down the Chargers' throats. The Chargers will have no answer for it. There'll be some passing, but it's going to be a spread out thing. But they're not going to have to get in desperation mode where Winston's winging it down the field. And I think it's a low scoring game also. So I just don't think they're going to need him in this game.
Every Harbaugh game seems to get ground into the muck. So I could see that there. That's the way they practice. Every under seems to hit in that one. And the total's 42 in that game too. So some opportunity to under bettors to ride again, if you will. But it is going against Jameis. I get it for sure. Maybe I'm just so enthused in the target share for Cedric Tillman the last 2 weeks that I'm in on it a little bit more. But that is a good reason. Hey, this is why you're my conscience, if you will. Help me pump the brakes just a little bit. If you like this video, again, please check it out, rotowire.com/try. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll be back at you again in week 10. Good luck in your fantasy matchups this week.